Peace, family, peace. I pray that all is well on this beautiful day. I look forward to sharing this encouraging message with you. Thank you so much. Welcome to Conversations with Constance. Oh man, I pray that all is well on this day. I'm going to give it just a moment and then I'm going to start. A young lady just sent me this song a couple days ago, and I love it. Peace, family, peace. Thank you for joining on today. I'm just listening to a song a young lady sent me. It's so beautiful. I'll put it in the description box. Okay. Peace, family. Thank you for joining Conversations with Constance on tonight. I am so excited. I'm sorry about that. My phone is going off. I'm so excited to be speaking with you on today. It is genuinely a blessing. I want to say welcome to Conversations with Constance. And so this message on today, I essentially just wanted to say we need to focus on letting the Most High cleanse us of our secret, our hidden wounds, our invisible wounds, and getting away from the nothingness. And sometimes the nothingness can be relationships that aren't healthy for you. Sometimes the nothingness can be indulging in like TV. The nothingness can be just squandering the time that we have on this earth. We all understand that life is but a vapor. So it's so important that we are allowing ourselves to see the truth about ourselves so that we can genuinely heal. That's the purpose of us being on this earth, so that we can heal and we can be a blessing to others. So I want to start this broadcast off by reading from one of my favorite books in the Bible. It's Ecclesiastes. And then if you want, we can discuss a little bit later. So I'm going to read from Ecclesiastes 1. Solomon wrote this in his old age, full of wisdom. This is like it's just like a bittersweet book to me. My favorite chapter from Ecclesiastes is chapter 3, even though I'm reading from chapter 1. It's so bittersweet. But the thing is, if we can read these messages and heed to the warning, we will be so much better off. This message, when I read it, the scriptures, it genuinely humbles me. It genuinely humbles me, because you think about a person who's been through it all, who's had different experiences, made a lot of mistakes, and this is what they come up with, the bitter truth. So I'm going to start reading from Ecclesiastes. I'm reading from the King James Version, and it will be the first chapter, and then I will go in more to the message. So the word of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. Vanity is of vanities, says the preacher. Vanity of vanity is vanity. One generation passes away and another generation comes, but the earth abides forever. The sun also rises and the sun goes down, and hastes to the place where it arose. The wind goes towards the south and turns around to the north. The wind whirls about continuously and comes again on its circuit. All the rivers run into the seas, yet the sea is not full. The place from which the river comes, there they return again. All things are full of labor. Man cannot express it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. That which has been is what will be. That which is done is what will be done. And there is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which it may be said, see, this is new? It has already been in ancient times before us. Therefore, there is no resemblance of former things, nor will there be any resemblance of things that are to come by those who will come after. I, the preacher, was king over Israel in Jerusalem, and I set my heart to seek and search out the wisdom concerning all that is done under heaven. This burdensome task God has given to the sons of man, by which they may be exercised. I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and indeed it is vanity and grasping of the wind. What is crooked cannot be made straight, and what is lacking cannot be numbered. I communed with my heart, saying, look, I have attained greatness and have gained more wisdom than all who were before me in Jerusalem. My heart has understood great wisdom and knowledge. And I set my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this also is grasping for the world, for the wind. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he who increases knowledge increases sorrow. Y'all just don't know how much Ecclesiastes means to me, because every time I read it, it's like the most bittersweet thing that you could ever read. Because it's humbling. It's like every time, it's like we're chasing certain things in life. We're trying to figure out if we can get a promotion. We're trying to be something in the world before man. But a lot of times we can lose ourselves in those things, especially if we're not confronting ourselves. So I just wrote down a couple of notes that I got from reading, and not just from this part, but especially if I would beg of you to go to, hey, Brother Anthony Abram, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. And hey, Randy. Yes, that's the Hard Rock t-shirt that I had on when I performed the Fat Poem. And hey, beloved King Chad, thank you so much for joining, y'all. Thank you. It's a blessing to have y'all become a part. I was reading from Ecclesiastes, and that's a message that genuinely touches my soul. And I've got some notes that I've written down from it. And so one of the things is, the world in its present state is basically going to be, the world in its present state is not to think. This is just a journey. So the world in its present state is not in its end all. It's not the end all be all. This is just a part of an aspect of the journey for us. I also said what's going on, as the word says, will continue to go on despite of whether we're here or not. What the things that we're going through now, the people in the olden days, they have gone through those same things. So the point of this message is essentially to say, while we are here on this journey, life is going to be essentially bittersweet. You're going to go through a lot of trials, a lot of error, a lot of tribulation. But to put things into perspective, if we are not working to correct ourselves, to be obedient to the Most High so that he can heal those invisible wounds, you're missing the point of this whole journey in life. Because essentially, this is just kind of like a place that we're stopping at. Eventually, we're going to move on, and there is going to be a judgment day, and we are going to be before our Father. So right now, it's time to stop with wasting our time with the nothingness. Stop with wasting our time doing things that are not being productive in our lives, that are not bringing out the fruits of the Spirit of the Most High, that are not encouraging us to be better while we're on this journey. I was thinking about this because in a lot of times in life, I've wasted my time. I've wasted a lot of time, a lot of energy. And I was also not loving myself like I should love myself appropriately either. So I was wasting time on people who in my life, I was trying to get them to, I was trying to show love and show my heart and help them in certain ways. And they didn't care. They didn't want to listen to what I had to say. There were situations where I was finding myself in work, trying to build myself up there. But I want you to know, while we're on this journey, sometimes there's no place in this earth, because this earth is not our final home, that we will be able to all the time connect with genuinely. But we can genuinely always connect with the Most High. But we have to push those things aside that aren't genuinely beneficial for us, that aren't genuinely going to help us grow, genuinely going to help us understand, and genuinely going to help us heal these invisible wounds that we have. So I want to talk a little bit about that, because me, myself, when it comes to invisible wounds, I know that me and Brother Randy were kind of talking about this. One of my hurts that I want to address is the past verbal abuse. So I came from a situation where, and that's something that I'm honestly still working, and the Lord is healing me through. So basically, in my life, I experienced that throughout my childhood. And, you know, if y'all probably looked at the beginning of this post when I first posted it, I was talking about being fat. I was going to do a message about overcoming, you know, the identity of what was placed on me when I was a child. And that is essentially part of it. So growing up, I grew up in a household that was was hectic. And what was placed on me was the fat kid. I went to the cookout. I was fat. At home, it was really psychologically damaging in a lot of ways, because when I was home, my mom would say, "You're fat. You need to do this." Blah blah blah. It would always about me. To me, it was always something about me being fat. And then she would feed me food. So it was kind of difficult for me to grasp, because as a child, when I had no control over what I was being fed, especially when I was a little kid. And I remember this thing, even when I was 3 years old, we were walking through a hospital, and this doctor or nurse came up. It was a man. It was a very tall black man. He said, "You're a fat little kid." And I never forgot that my whole life. And it seemed like those sentiments were coming throughout my life, throughout my life in various ways. And because I was leading to that pain, I was filling up the void with that nothingness. So that nothingness was a big thing in my life. Even though the Lord had placed all these gifts within me, prophetic gifts, gifts of poetry, all these different things, I was so focused on that nothingness because the pain for me was so hard. And even the pain today, to be honest with you, sometimes those hurts and those pains do come up, because when you've grown up with people criticizing you instead of lifting you up, you develop this negative image of yourself, and you're fighting against that image essentially your whole life until you genuinely believe your identity in Christ. See, the mind says one thing and the heart says another thing. So you have to get both of them to agree in who you genuinely are, so you can ultimately move forward in your life. But you're not going to move forward unless you discover what those invisible pains, those invisible hurts, those invisible things are. Because even if you don't really fully see them, there are people that can see them in you. There are people that can see you crying out when you're not even speaking. And so it's important that we address these things, so we don't allow the nothingness to take over our life. We don't allow the things of the enemy to take over our life. We don't allow his plans to take over our life. Essentially, it's deception at its core, because from the time that you come out of your mother's womb, the enemy also has a plan for your life. From the time you step foot out the womb, he is fighting in every area before you even understand what the concept of fighting is, because he wants your soul. And if he can hypnotize you while you're down here on this earth, you will not listen to the Most High. You will keep up that fake facade, and you will go to a place that you haven't been called to go to. I am here today to say, deal with yourself. Confront those invisible wounds. Let the Most High heal you. It's going to take humility. It's going to take humility for this to be done. It's going to take humility, but deal with those wounds. When you allow yourself to walk away from every distraction, that's what the nothingness is, a bunch of distractions. Then you will be able to really listen, humble yourself, and listen and be obedient, and then the blessings will begin to flow in your life. Things are changing in my life in a good way, and I'm thankful to the Lord because I decided that I was going to listen. I decided that it wasn't my show to run, that I have to listen to the Most High and be guided by our Father, guided by our Creator. So when I was talking about that, the enemy was attacking my identity from young. So I had words on my forehead. The words were dumb, stupid, fat, ugly. You're never going to be anything. You're worthless. These are words that were on my forehead from a child. And it's like, I love my mother, but she was helping to affirm those words. And different people outside of myself, family members, were helping to affirm those words. So essentially, to be honest with you, that's who I thought I was. I thought I was this dumb, stupid, fat person, and that's all there was ever going to be the constants. I was the person I could read, but I would be scared to read out loud in front of my class when I was a young girl, because I was the dumb, stupid, fat person. That's what I thought. I was a person that whenever I went into a classroom, I would make sure that I sat in the back of the class so no one could notice my weight. I was a person that when I spoke, I knew what I wanted to say. But if a teacher called on me and she said, Black history is one of my favorite subjects. A teacher called on me in Black history, say, Constance, what do you think about this person? I would tremble. I couldn't speak. I was traumatized by what the enemy was trying to do to me. The enemy was trying to make me believe, greetings, beloved sister Ebony, greetings, beloved queen, greetings. I was traumatized by what the enemy was trying to do to me. I was telling them about how the enemy was trying to get me to believe these negative things about myself so that I would never become anything. I was talking about how when we believe these lies, the lies allow us to give into the nothingness of our lives. It allows us to give into the nothingness. So it allows us to give into, sex, pornography, drinking, bad relationships. And Lord knows I've been in a ton of bad relationships. I've had a ton of people in my life who did not appreciate me. What I'm saying today, just to reiterate, that there are lies that we are told at the beginning of our lives. And if we accept those lies, we will never be able to come whom the Most High has called us to become in this life. We will be scared, we will be fearful, and we'll be sitting over in a corner somewhere if we believe what the devil tried to get us, or demonic forces tried to get us to believe about ourselves. I had all those things in my forehead, and I believed them, and it crippled me, and it caused me to go through tremendous depression, caused me to go through tremendous fear, tremendous anxiety. It caused me to hate myself. I don't know if any of you have ever hated yourself at one point in your life, but I literally hated myself. I see Ebony says, I've come to learn the enemy has no power unless we give them our, absolutely, Sister Ebony. Absolutely. The enemy doesn't have any power but the power that we give. You are so correct. And, you know, that's why separating yourself from people, in all honesty, and learning the Most High and learning yourself is going to cause you to move into your greatness. Right now, I'm not going to be as active as I used to be online. I'm going to still be online, but I ain't going to be as active because I'm called to do certain things in my personal life. I'm called to do more writing and things of that nature, and learning. So I'm going to be focused on those things, but I'll still be on here. I just essentially want to say, you know, I could go deep into the situations that I had with that's what started it. You know, the negative talk, the mental abuse, the negative talk started outside my head. And then I took on that negative talk inside my head. So once I heard these negative affirmations enough, I just started to believe it. And what kind of started shifting gears in life for me is when I started, after college, I started living on my own. I moved to another state and I started going out. You said I went through a self-hatred phase during middle school, during my middle school years. Yes. I mean, I went through it in my adulthood, to be honest with you, Randy. I went through hating myself, thinking very low of myself, you know, being scared and fearful every moment. I had so much fear and self-hatred built up in myself. I used to pray that God would let me die. I honestly used to just pray like, Lord, please let me die. Like, if you just let me die, I'll be okay, you know, because in my mind now, I was thinking that I was a good person. So I was like, in my mind, you know, we all want to think that we good, you know. I was thinking I was a good person. I was like, if you let me die, then I'll be okay because I'll be away from this evil world, because this world has so much evil in it. And if we don't be cognizant of what the things that we consume mentally, physically, and emotionally, we will be torn down. We will be torn down. So you have to be cognizant of your relationships, cognizant of the food, cognizant of what you allow yourself to indulge in. But a lot of people don't want to face themselves. Facing yourself is a hard thing. It's very hard, but it's the only way to move up in this life. As I understand that life is but a vapor, and that no matter what you do in life, you know, these things that will be left behind, and we'll be going to, what did you say? You said the negative thoughts were implanted in you. It was projected into you. I can relate because I've experienced. Yes, it was Ebony, you know, it was implanted in me because, like I said, I always used to just think that I was the fat person. That's why I posted the fat poem earlier, the PHAT poem now that I performed when I was in when I was in Detroit, Michigan at a place called They Say. That was implanted in me. So I had all these negative thoughts, these negative concepts of myself, you know, and I thought that, and when I was a child, I had these negative thoughts, and I said, well, I'm going to be lonely. I'm just fat. I'm just ugly. I'm just stupid. And that's why when I went into the classroom or went out, I just was very scared and very quiet. And but I changed that. And in high school, I had friends. I was a little on the crazy side, but I still had a low self-esteem. And it was only when I started living by myself and learning myself, leaning to the Most High, leaning to prayer. Sometimes it was just me and the Most High when I started to love myself. Like, loving myself was not easy. Some people, I know sometimes we talk about loving ourselves like drinking a glass of water. You said I was picked at because of my skin tone by other Black kids, somewhat white. Yeah, and Randy, I don't know what it is with the skin tone thing. I love, not to change the subject, I love our skin tone as Black people. And I actually especially love darker complected. You know, I'm from Africa. So, you know, in my mind, I'm going back to Africa too. I don't know why. I think sometimes people grow up, parents are teaching their kids superficial things. It's too much superficiality, and they're teaching people to focus on the exterior instead of the internal. and said the interior. And so kids not knowing what they're saying, essentially they're just imitating what their parents are telling them. And they're going to talk about skin complexion. Shoot, people, even to this day, coworkers or things that will say something about my skin complexion or say something like, it's like a jealousy thing. And I'm like, who cares? You know, it's like you can have a conversation like, oh yeah, because she light skinned and blah, blah, blah. I don't even consider myself to be that light skinned. If you saw my mom looks white. My mom doesn't even look like a black woman. And my dad is about, hey, Sister Naj. My dad is about Randy's complexion. So y'all see why I like chocolate man. Let me stop. Wait a minute. The Holy Spirit wait a minute. We got to get the Holy Spirit back. My dad is a dark-skinned man, and my mom, if you saw her, she looks white. So that's why I came out like the skin complexion I am. Ebony said, hey, Sister Naj, I'm here for a few minutes because my eyes are trying to close. That's okay, lady. It's good to see you, Sister Queen. And Ebony said, I love dark-skinned men, particularly dark-skinned, black, have the most gorgeous skin. Racism teaches us to hate ourselves. Let me tell you something, Ebony. I admire Queen Ebony. I admire my dark-skinned sisters and brothers. I just feel like, like they are so beautiful. Like I saw there was this young lady at work and I didn't even know her. And she came up to my desk and she asked me a question. And I was just admiring her skin. I said, oh my goodness, you look so beautiful. And she was looking at me like, but she was looking like, oh, thank you. I was like, oh, your hair is so pretty too. Cause she had her crochet braids and y'all know I love crochet braids. But I love dark skin. Most of my boyfriends have been like 6-something in dark skin, and I don't know. I just always loved. So I've never had a skin complexion issue. Hey, Shaniqua, hey, Queen. You know what? I love that video you did. I felt like, honestly, it was for me. So thank you so much for doing that video that you did earlier because it was genuinely a blessing. Yes, Ebony. I'm here for, and I'm sure Naj is here for the dark-skinned brothers too, okay? I'm here. Let me tell you, it's something about that skin tone. Let me tell you something. It's something, the blacker the bear. Let me stop. Naj said, I recently touched on this subject, and I too feel that we all should embrace our skin complexions and ethnicity. No one should feel less than. It's our differences that make us unique. Yes, it is our differences that make us unique. We are all beautiful in different ways. And I feel like we should celebrate. You said we should celebrate that beauty. It doesn't matter how big your nose is, how big your lips is, what your hair looks like. It's important to love yourself from the inside out because once you do, that beauty is going to shine. I love different features and I love different ethnicities. That's why I used to date men of different races and different cultures. I was all into the Jamaican men, all into the African men. I've dated some men from Indian men, all kind of men. I haven't dated white, but wait a minute, why we get on this? This one's the message. Naj said, believe it or not, my dad is dark skinned. Oh, okay. Yeah, my dad is a dark skinned man as well. He is. And you said I've never had children, but I wanted some chocolate babies. Yes. You said my first love. This is Queen Ebony. My first love was semi-sweet chocolate. Fine, brother. Chiseled face. Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? I'm a godly woman, girl, but chocolate is my favorite. God forgive me. God forgive me for saying that. Let me come all the way down. Okay, let me come all the way down. Yes, let me tell you something. About one of my very first boyfriend when I was 15 years old. I met him at a wedding, my cousin's wedding. And he was there. He was much older than me. He was even out of high school. and he was chocolate. And then he came up to me and he was like, I'm mesmerized by your beauty. But for me, it's just something about the dark-skinned man, and you tall and all that like that. Let me stop talking about this stuff. But anyway, I can relate. I ain't gonna go too deep, because you see, y'all ain't gonna be making me go too deep on this now. Y'all gonna make me go too deep. And then Shanika said, I love dark skinned guys. Yes. And then Naj said, my mom is lighter skin, which is your complexion. I came out of a mixture of both. Yes, my mom, if I showed you a picture of my mother looks like a white woman. But my dad is dark skinned, similar to a little bit lighter than Randy's complexion. My dad is a dark skinned man, and this is my complexion. So my mom married a light skinned brother. I'll probably look white. I probably would look white, but I got color because my dad is very dark. And then you said, I love dark skinned guys. Yeah, I just feel like, honesty, like, why do we as Black people make such a big thing of skin complexion, such a big thing of hair, such a big thing of our differences? Like, why can't we just embrace each other? Let me tell you, I love features. I love features. And I appreciate a big nose. I appreciate larger lips. I appreciate different. I don't want everybody to look artificial in the same. So it kind of hurts me when I see women, getting these breast implants, getting these lip injections. It's like, the Lord bless you with this body, bless you with yourself. Like, figure out who you are and embrace that, and and make that beautiful. But you don't have to go all out by changing your nose, your lips, your cheeks, your eyebrows. And well, hold up, I darken my eyebrows, but y'all know what I'm saying. And Ambry, Randy says, it's cultural conditioning. In America, we're culturally conditioned to believe that whites are superior and Blacks are inferior. That is not all of us, Randy, but that is true. And I'll tell you this too. That's true to the fact for some of us. And what I'll say about this is, in my family, on my mother's side, they're lighter skinned people. They look most. So our family is, and I'll bring my cousin on because my cousin has the history of our family. He has a doctorate degree. He's a great researcher. So I want to bring him on one day so y'all can talk with him, because he can tell you the family bloodline. But on our side, they have a skin complexion thing on my mother's side of the family. So you're going to see a lot of light-skinned people, red people, white-looking people, but we're not all Black, because there's my great-grandmother. We come from an Cherokee Indian bloodline in my family. Then Indian mixed with white and mixed with Black. And somewhere down the line, they tried to keep it, for some reason, light skin. So it's like we get lighter and lighter as the generations. I don't know why now. I ain't like that. You can ask my family. I don't know why, but it's like that. So Naj said, I never had a preference and I still don't. Yeah, I don't necessarily, when it comes to men, I've learned from being stupid to base my thought process off the flesh. I learned because, he's handsome, blah, blah, blah. So I did have a preference, and I do like certain specific things, but I wouldn't just stick to that in terms of who the man that I would marry. Like, I'm totally open at this point, because I realize it's not about what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside, and essentially how this person makes me feel. Do they show me genuine love? Are they genuinely supportive? Do we have good chemistry? And not only good chemistry, do we make each other better? Now, those are the things that I think about when in terms of a relationship now. Let's see. Queen Ebony said, my mom was light skinned and my dad was medium, and I'm a mix. Okay, cool. Yeah, and Randy said true. And then Naj says true, Randy. The idea is to have us fighting against each other instead of fighting, not literally, to love our different. Yes, that is so true. That is so true. And it's like with us in the Black community, I don't know why we be fighting against each other on skin complexion, on weave, on all these different things, because this stuff really isn't important. The enemy is trying to get us to hate each other. The enemy is trying to get us to separate as much as possible and have a lot of conflict, when we should be focused on respecting, loving, appreciating, and supporting each other. And I just want to say, if y'all know of any Black businesses, I support all businesses, so it's not all Black. But if you know any Black businesses in your area, please support that business. Because it seems like we're not an apt to just genuinely or innately want to support each other. And this is going back down in history. We were taught to hate ourselves, and we were taught to hate each other, you know? And Chad said, and Randy said, Ebony, Constance, read the second half, please. Oh, read the second half of did I miss something? Did I miss something you said? And then Naj said, I just like the football player. Let me tell you something, Naj. Hey, y'all. Naj said, I just like the football player types. Big old. Doesn't matter the shade, high faces. Hey, Keisha Jones, what does the Most High mean? That is my reference to the Lord. Now, some people call the Most High different things. That some people call, I believe in the God of the Bible. That's what I read. But you know, and in order for me to just be clear, because some people call the Lord Jesus, some people call the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach. I just call our Father the Most High, because the Creator is the Most High. And everybody has, all of us people on earth, we think we're so smart and so intelligent. We think we know the final truth. So I just refer to my Father as the Most High, but I'm a Bible believer. What were you saying? Let's see. Naj, you're right. Keeping it money. Naj, you happy rolling, girl. You happy. You happy. I didn't even want to read all that, because let me tell you something. Naj gonna have me repenting after I complete this message, because we started off talking about, let the power of the Most High help you heal your invisible scars, and then now you should come on. Now you should come on right quick, lady. If only for like 10 minutes if you want to come on. Either any of y'all who want to come on right quick. Y'all are tripping me out. I couldn't say it right, Naj, because I started this message off all godly, talking about scriptures and everything, and then Naj gonna come in the thing and have me laughing. But yeah, I don't know what's up with us, y'all. What do y'all think? Why can't we love each other? Keeping it a buck. Yeah, I came in at the end of the conversation. Oh, okay. But see, Naj came in at the end, and then she turned it up. She got it crunk. She got it crunk. Yes, the Most High. Yes, that's what I mean. The Most High, Keisha. And thank you for joining us tonight. Yeah, no, Naj. No, Naj just like turned up for what, Even though I don't listen to that song no more, that's what Naj is like. No, you got me laughing. No, I'm glad y'all got me laughing. I'm glad y'all got me laughing, because this message was on my heart. I really wanted to do a message of just encouragement and empowerment, and leaning not to your own understanding, leaning to what the Most High is telling us, is teaching us about how to live, and facing ourselves, because a lot of times we just don't want to face ourselves. And Ebony said, Randy, the world knows better. It's a Jedi mind trick designed to cause hate and self-doubt amongst us. Absolutely. I know y'all have heard of the Willie Lynch syndrome. I know y'all have heard of that too. But see, there are several techniques that happen to our people to really tear us apart mentally, emotionally, physically. And this is the reason why we're so separate. This is the reason why we're so eager as a people sometimes to hate on each other, to disrespect each other instead of encourage each other, instead of show each other love. I've been trying to figure this out my whole life, but it's like mind boggling. And the jealousy aspect of things too. So it's a lot. What do y'all think? I'm gonna ask this question. What do you think can heal our community as a people? Do y'all think that there's anything that we can do? Because I always believe in, be the change you want to see. That's the kind of person I am. Be the change you want to see. So what do y'all think that can heal, that can begin to bring us together more? Because I've been preaching a message of togetherness, of love, of forgiveness for a very long time, but it seems like we're moving slow towards that. I'm gonna go back to the comments. And Ebony says, but seriously though, the Lord did a new thing in me to get me to love me. It's been a process of years to get to this point. All praise is due to Christ. Real talk. Amen. Now, Naj, you ain't got to tone it down. Naj was just throwing out. She was just throwing out some good. Naj, you were so funny, girl. I couldn't even read the whole thing because I was like, oh my goodness. Amen. Exactly, Naj. Self-love is needed to heal ourselves as a people. That is so true, Sister Ebony. That is very true. Self-love is needed. And that's why I was talking about being able to heal those invisible wounds, because a lot of us lack self-love. A lot of us lack self-respect. And that's why, as you were saying earlier, Sister Queen Ebony, people often project those negative things on the next person. There, a lot of times you project what's honestly within inside of you. So self-love is key. And us learning how to respect those who give us love, give us appreciation, who help to try to prune us, especially if it's a message from the Most High. So self-love, yes, most definitely. That is a definite, that's a thing that I like to share. And it's not easy. As Naj said earlier, it was a journey of years. And for me, it started, when I moved here to Charlotte. It started for me living by myself, learning to take care of myself, learning to appreciate my body. It's like it's been a reprogramming of my mind, because in my mind, the previous me just thought I was just a fat person. There was nothing good. Nothing good was ever going to come out of me. I'm just fat, dumb, and lazy or something. And I had to understand that was an identity that the enemy was trying to force me to believe, so I wouldn't become the woman that the Most High has called me to believe and called me to become. And it's also a reprogramming of the subconscious mind and the subconscious thoughts, because a lot of those thoughts are what's controlling us and causing bad behaviors if it hasn't been programmed appropriately. And Naj, I see that you said, Ebony, self-love is very much needed. I pray the rest of your video is a blessing. Good night, everyone. Good night, Naj. See you. It was good that you tuned in for a while. Yes. So I'm just glad y'all were bringing up these topics, because my initial topic was going to be on how do we heal these hidden invisible wounds that we have. Because I know from childhood I grew up with that mental abuse, that negative thought process towards myself. Not the best relationship with my mother, being in a hectic household. So that caused me to if you can afford it, yes, therapy is, I have done therapy. Therapy is really good. Yes, it is. But therapy is, you have to find the right therapist. That's one thing about therapy. You can't just pop up and say, oh, I'm going to get this person. You have to really do your due diligence, because every person is not going to match you. It's kind of like being in a relationship. It's kind of like being in a relationship. therapy is, you got to find the right person to help you. And you got to be willing to be humble when you go into that therapist's office too. Because if you're not willing to face the things that are really wrong with you, you're not going to be able to move on appropriately in life. You're not going to be able to move forward, and you're not going to be able to see yourself as you should genuinely see yourself. Therapy is one option. Also, writing and facing yourself in the mirror and being able to honestly accept some criticism too in life, because criticism can be used and people are going to give you a critique. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. He said, guys, I have to go. Sorry. All right, Chad, it was good seeing you. Good night, Chad, and good night, Ebony. And what I was saying is that a lot of times in life, what's keeping us stagnant, what's keeping us in the same place, is because we're not willing to confront those invisible wounds. So if you know what's genuinely hurting you in your life, if you know what's genuinely hurting you in your heart, you need to work on confronting that. Because whether you can understand it or not, or perceive it or not, other people are seeing what's hurting you without even you. Hey, Moni E. Hey, beloved sister. Other people are seeing what's going on with you. It's kind of, okay, I'll give you an example like this. It's kind of like someone who lives alone and think that they're clean and their house is very dirty. And then they go to work and they're smelling. They're smiling, they're enjoying their life, everything is all good, and they're walking around and wondering why coworkers looking at them like, looking like them funny in the face. Hey, lady, they stink, but they don't even know they stink. So this is the thing. If you love somebody, that's probably a bad reference, but if you love somebody, you got to tell that person when they stinking. You got to tell, but this is the key. Don't tell them in front of everybody. Do not tell them in front of everybody. Pull them to the side and say, even if you don't know them, sometimes it's good to do this and say, hey, there's a little odor coming from you. You might want to handle that. I'm not going to gossip about you. I just want you to know that I smell this and it's coming from you. That is like, let me tell you something. That is a very kind thing to do. You don't have to put the person on blast. But if someone is stinking and you got you smelling that aroma, you want to make sure. But come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. If people stink, you need to tell them they stink now. Come on now. That's love. That's love, Moni E. If they stink, tell them they stink. Let me tell you, I'll be telling people in a nice way, and I don't tell people they stink, but sometimes I'm chewing a piece of gum, like, you want a piece of gum, But anyway, moving on, what I'm trying to tell you is people don't know they funky. So they walking out their house, and I mean spiritually funky. I don't mean I was using a physical example just now, but I mean spiritually funky. Like you got an aroma, dude. Like you really need to handle that. Sometimes people are spiritually funky, and you walk up to them and say, hey, I can see this going on with you. You might want to take a look at this. You got to be willing to take criticism. Anybody who is going to make it through this life has to be willing to understand the power of correction. And I mean correction in love. We can't go anywhere if we don't never want to listen to nobody. That's where you got to let the ego, you got to work on that ego. Got to work on that selfishness. Got to work on anything that's hindering you from you seeing the truth about yourself. Because when you can see the truth about yourself and you can decide to evolve and get better, you going places in life. It's okay. I don't mind if somebody say, Constance, you spelled a word wrong. I don't mind if somebody say, they give me an honest critique. I did something. Now, I'm not going to do what people just want me to do because I ain't that kind of person. I wouldn't even be on YouTube Honestly, if I'm just going to do anything that anybody want me to do, that ain't the kind of woman I am. But let me tell you something. I'm humble enough to take a critique. I'm humble enough to say I might need to change some things. And there's no reason why we should be around each other and genuinely love each other and not want to help each other be better. That's the whole point of me doing a YouTube channel. That's the whole point of me even, giving some words of encouragement and wisdom and hoping that somebody can take something away from this message and eventually it be a blessing to their life. Even if it's one message, even if they never subscribe to my channel, if they come over here and hear one thing that can help them be better, that's the whole point of me doing this. And Queen Ebony said, it's very kind. Some people don't know something is wrong. That's true. They don't. Some people don't. In all honesty, you have a way of speaking the truth in love. Thank you so much. Thank you. We have to speak the truth in love, and the only way we're going to grow is we help each other build each other up. That's what it's about. It's about togetherness. It's about help lifting your brother or your sister up. If someone is down, you're supposed to be there to say, okay, you may be down, but maybe you can work on this. Maybe you can work on that. And maybe you don't focus on what's so-called keeping you down, but focus on the things that really are helping you to grow and to develop as a person. So if you genuinely love somebody, if you genuinely care about somebody, and even if you don't know them, just being a loving person, you can be helpful to them. Because it may be the couple of words that you pull them to the side and say that's going to bless them. It's kind of like that supervisor pulling someone in a room and saying, listen, your work right now that you're doing is not the best because I've seen you do better. I know what you're capable of, and I know what your goal in this company is. Do this, and that, and you are going to be better. I know in corporate America, we call it the sandwich effect. So in corporate America, what we do is tell you something good about yourself first, give you a compliment, then tell you the critique, and then give you another compliment behind that critique. It's called the sandwich effect. So it'll be easy for you to consume what you need to consume. A lot of people have pulled me into a room sometimes and told me, Constance, I know you can do better. And it made me want to do better. Constance, watch this. When you talk to this person, say it like this. Remember, we're all about selling and all this. This is my old job. So those critiques help me to become better. So it's okay to have that in your life. It's actually, in all honesty, a blessing. If you don't have anybody in your life that care about you enough to tell you anything that can make you better, you might be in a rough position, especially if you're leaning to your own understanding. That's another thing that got people messed up, leaning to their own understanding and not following what the Most High is saying and not letting anybody in their life tell them anything. Let me tell you something. It's a dark path to think that you know everything, to think that you know everything and your word is final. It's a dark path to be around people who only tell you what you want to hear. Let me say that again. It's a dark path if you have people around you who are only telling you what you want to hear. If you are always leaning to your own understanding, if you are not heeding to correction, there will be a downfall for anybody on that path. There will be. So we have to humble ourselves, walk in love, and walk in humility. That's the problem. humbleness. Like it's been plenty of times that I've been critiqued so badly by people. And I thought, oh, this person just hating on me. And then I listen and I think back and they were trying to help me. Or, so the thing is, you're not going to know your full potential until you allow yourself to confront those demons, until you allow yourself to confront the things that are holding you back. You're not going to understand the capability of who you can genuinely become in this life until you look yourself in the mirror. I have been that person that has made a lot of excuses in life. I used to be the excuse queen. I had an excuse for everything. Why you late, Constance? Well, you know, I had to go get some gas before. I had to go get some gas before I came to work. I can't be running out on E. Whatever it is, these excuses. Why you eating that extra piece of whatever? Why you doing this? Why you doing that? All that's a part of that nothingness that I was talking about earlier. That's a part of that giving into those excuses, giving into that weak mind frame, giving into the flesh and the pleasures of being comforted by all this fake love. Because let me tell you something. The love is fake if there ain't no genuine correction. If you are around people and they never tell you about yourself, they never say, look, bruh, look, sis, you need to work on this, bruh. Legit. Like this, you got this problem, you need to work on it. If they never correct you, if someone is your friend, that friend is supposed to tell you about yourself. Not saying that you got to listen to everything they say or believe everything they say, but at least examine what they're saying, especially if you know that they have your best interest at hand. So what I'm saying to you today is, in this path, we must be humble because there's a lot of things out in this world that have come to kill, steal, and destroy us. If we are supposed to make it to the appropriate place in life, if we are supposed to ascend, essentially, then we have to be willing to take a critique. We have to be willing to be obedient to the Most High, most of all. And we have to be willing to be watchful. Another thing I've learned before I go, Ebony said this in a prior, Queen Ebony said this in her video. And Ebony, I'm talking about another sister, Ebony, said this in her video earlier. She said something to the degree, and she sent out a quote about a season of shut upness or a season of shut up. Let me see if I can read it from my phone really quickly. And I'm not going to keep y'all too long, but y'all, let me tell you something. We had fun tonight. We had, let me see. No, I don't see it right quick. So she talked about a season of shut upness. Because as a spiritual person, I feel and I sense things. Yeah, she said a season of shut upness. And you know what I said to myself? I was like, I need to be shutting up more sometimes. Seriously, but what she was talking about is you can't reason with the enemy. You can't reason with the enemy. You can't reason with demons. So it's a humbling thing to not try to reason, but to be quiet, to be silent, to work in silence. She mentioned that, and it was a powerful, let me tell you something, it was a powerful thing. Because, you know, so many of us get ourselves caught up in bad relationships, get ourselves caught up dealing with negative things, because we want to prove a point. We want to let our ego shine. We want to be right. We want to be the one who wins the battle. But when you're genuinely following the Most High, sometimes that voice will say to you, be quiet. But no, I got to explain this to this person because this person got to know how I feel, because you know what? They was wrong. Be quiet. Be quiet. Don't say anything. Let me tell you something. That be quiet could save your life. That be quiet could save your job. That be quiet could save your marriage. And it goes back to humility. Even my own self, I found myself sometimes in life just keeping it real, wanting to show somebody, to prove a point to somebody, and not in a negative way, but I just want you to see things my way. Sometimes people will never see things your way. Sometimes they will never understand where you're coming from. It's not that they don't like you. It's not that they hate you. It's just that they have their own concept of things. They have their own concept of life. And sometimes others aren't able to see outside of their bubble. That's the problem with a lot of us. So when she said, be quiet, I took that literally, because if we be quiet, the Most High will fight our battles and will tell you when to speak. Every response does not deserve a response. Every response does not deserve a response. Do y'all know how many trolls, and I'm not talking about on my channel because I really don't have a lot of trolls on my channel. I have, it's very few. But with me commenting on other people's channels, how many trolls I've encountered. And you know how you can kill that troll? By not responding. You know how you can kill the voice of that coworker who purposely tries to annoy you every day? By not giving them your energy. You see, the enemy wins when we give in. The enemy wins when we play on his playing field, his playground. But when you get off his playground, you are blessed because you don't have to deal with that mess. Because let me tell you something, the people of the Most High, the people who genuinely are supposed to be in your life, they will. So in this life, having that peace within yourself, having that confidence, that inner strength, knowing that you don't need anybody else to make you, will save you. Your silence can save your life. Your silence can cause you to have a peaceful day versus a bad day. And I'm not gonna lie, I have given in to a lot of arguments with people. And it was the flesh. Sometimes it was ego, wanting to be right. At the end of the day, I don't have to be right in the eyes of anybody else. I just want to be right in the eyes of Christ. I just want to do what the Most High wants me to do and not lean to my own understanding in life. The more that we pray, the more that we meditate, the more that we walk in humility and walk in forgiveness, the more that we humble ourselves and be quiet, we'll learn. And whatever that roughness was, there will be still. Peace will be still. Peace will be still. So when she said, the season of shut up, that caught me. I was like, yes, that's for me. That's for me. That message right there is definitely for Constance. Because, sometimes I love to talk. But, sometimes we got to be quiet. And every time we got to humble ourselves. And every time we got to try our best to follow the Most High. Because none of us are right all of the time. None of us have all. That's another thing. Some people think they got all the answers. They think they got all the answers. None of us have all of the answers. None of us. We have some. We have some. Amen. None of us have all of the answers. That's why walking in humility, and this is the thing about the Most High, If you don't humble yourself, you will be humbled. If you do not, I was humbled. Let me tell you something, y'all. When I lost all that weight, I thought it was all about Constance. Let me tell you, I was dating whoever I wanted to date. I was wearing my 20-inch weave, and you couldn't tell me that my body back in the day now, what I used to say, yes, girl, I'm on fleek, girl. I'm like, yeah, girl, I'm all that, girl. Let me go out and show this body out, girl. Let me show this banging body. Let me tell you something. The Lord humbled me all the way down to the ground. Let me tell you, because I met this guy, and he was a type that my flesh used to like. Tall, dark-skinned, chiseled to the high heavens. You would have thought he would have been a model somewhere. Seriously, he could model. Very handsome guy. I was young, dumb. This is only about 3-4 years ago. So yeah, it was only about 3 years. Anyway, I was young and dumb and dumber and younger and stupider, at the time. And that situation with that guy humbled me all the way down. And then the Lord started showing me true confidence. That my true confidence and my true beauty wasn't based on my flesh. It wasn't based on my skin. It wasn't based on what was on the outside. But it was based on the love that I have within my heart. It was based on forgiving people. It was based on what can I do to be a blessing to man? How can I be a blessing to people? When I learned that my life wasn't all about me, when I learned that things were all about what you look on the outside, how you look, when I learned about how much money in the bank account didn't determine my happiness, couldn't determine happiness. When I started reading Ecclesiastes 3, let me tell you, y'all go to chapter 3. I read chapter 1 earlier. Y'all go to chapter 3. When I started reading that, and I realized also life is but a vapor, and I realized that my life wasn't about myself, that I wasn't here to be a selfish individual. I wasn't here to just think only about Constance, that these things that were important to me, how I dressed, what kind of heels I was going to put on, what kind of makeup, what club, what event I was going to, all of that stuff was irrelevant. Vanity. When I realized that, I felt terrible because I was on a horrible path. I was on a path straight to hell. I remember my trainer used to say, I used to go to training, right? This was when I was boxing. I boxed for 2 years. And I trained with a semi-pro boxer. And when I would go to training, my trainer looked at me one day. He said, Constance, are you vain? And I said, why? He was like, because every time your hair messes up, you go to the bathroom, you're always checking your eyebrows. He was like, you're vain. I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not vain. I would go to training decked down. I would go to train. And it wasn't because my trainer was cute. That didn't hurt. It wasn't because my trainer was cute. It was because I really was vain. And he showed me something in myself that I needed to correct. He showed me something in myself that I thought I was always looking on the external to determine my internal worth. And when that started to click in my head, those thoughts of perceptions of how I needed to look kind of went away. As long as I was genuinely being a genuine person from the inside out. I was genuinely loving people. I was genuinely trying my best to forgive. And sometimes forgiveness is a very hard thing, but the only way you're going to make it in this life is humbling yourself and forgiving. I'm still balancing out the love thing, because sometimes I can be very loving because it was like a deficit of something that I didn't receive in my childhood. But when you begin to realize your worth and you begin to realize that life is not about these superficial things that we have surrounded ourselves with. Life isn't about taking a selfie. Life isn't about watching the next gossip episode. Life isn't about all these that's the nothingness in life. The enemy wants to destroy your life with all of the nothingness. When you begin to realize that your soul belongs to the Most High, when you begin to realize all the gifts that He has within you, when you begin to operate in those gifts, when you begin to operate in humility, don't look for the blessing. Don't look for, don't do it because you think you're going to be famous. Don't do it because you think you're going to get notoriety. Don't give that person $10 on the street so you can go and brag about it on Facebook. The Most High blesses the things you do in secret. So do good works in secret and don't tell nobody about it. Humble yourself, brothers and sisters. I'm also saying this to you because I'm humbling myself. I'm realizing that I'm not right about everything. I definitely know I don't know everything. We got to be willing to help lift each other up and show and correct each other and also be a blessing to each other. We are here to help each other heal. And that's the whole point of this channel. Well, beloved brothers and sisters, I'm about to wind it on down. I felt like we had a good night tonight, y'all. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and wind this thing on down. Thank you for joining, Shaniqua. You know I appreciate you and I love you. And everybody, please check out Sister Shaniqua's channel. She has a very blessed channel, and that last message she did was straight up from me because that message was everything. I loved it. Thank you. Please continue to let your light shine in the Most High because He is genuinely using you. He is genuinely using you. So I want to say thank you, everyone, for joining on tonight. I appreciate y'all. This was another episode of Conversations with Constance. Remember, ladies, you are virtuous. You need to be cherished, loved, respected. So if that guy, if that person, if that friend, whoever they is, if they ain't treat you right, keep it moving, boo. Keep it moving. You said so much. Thanks. I'll be reading Ecclesiastes 3. Good night. Good night, everyone. See you walking, taking the style, the way she carries herself, pumpkin proud.